G'day and welcome back to another DBZ Dokkan battle video. In this video we are going to be taking a look at the performance of Turles after his Extreme Z Awakening in the movie bosses Extreme Super Battle Road. So obviously guys, Turles definitely had a great EZA. But one of the big impacts of his EZA was the fact that he does especially well against superclass enemies. So the thing is in something like Ultimate Red Zone, you're not going to see the absolute best of Turles because of the fact that he's not facing a lot of superclass enemies. Now Turles, he has attack and defense of 160%. He also has all attack or allies key +3 and 40% attack. He also has 40% additional defense when there's a superclass enemy, and he also has superclass enemies attack -20% and activates Fruit of the Tree of Might boost when conditions are met. His boost as well also gives him a whole bunch of boons against superclass enemies. He decreases their defense by 80% and becomes attacks effective against all types, plus also has an additional defense of 100% when the enemy is a superclass enemy. So it's pretty good stuff actually. I don't think there's not a lot of units that can do what Turles does, and I think Turles is pretty good because of it. Overall he looks pretty solid. He brings a lot to the table utility wise, and yeah, I think for the most part you should be pretty happy if you have Turles. He does a really good job, especially in a stage like this one. He does a really nice job overall. So Turles looks pretty good. I like Turles. I think he's a great unit. I think he brings a lot to the table, and he's a super duper solid option for a lot of teams. So Turles, really great, and yeah, it just does so much. You can see attack stats are really solid. He's doing a lot of great damage, really just kind of busting it out, doing a lot of really good stuff. He's got the ability to stun as well, which is incredibly useful in Esbr. So Turles, super solid unit, great damage, great utility, great everything for Esbr. Obviously his best pairing partner is the Strength Army Turles, or LR Team Turles, I guess is the way people like to call them. A pretty solid unit, still very much usable in Esbr. Also very good debuffs the enemy as well. So yeah, for the most part a pretty solid pairing, the two of them. I don't want to say they're like the absolute best pairing for this stage, because it is quite a tough stage. Movie bosses Esbr can be quite rough overall. So yeah, I think for the most part it's definitely probably maybe not the absolute best, but I think, like, especially if you have dupes in the LR, then I think they're a very powerful pairing for the Esbr. So yeah, overall I like them. I like what they bring to the table, and I like Agl Turles. I like his whole kit. Obviously the great thing about the movie bosses Esbr, Turles is facing superclass enemies pretty much the whole way through. So that is obviously something that's super duper helpful and impactful for his overall performance. Like we can see here, he's got a absolutely huge amount of defense, 251k. He's beefing everyone else on the rotation up as well. So yeah, he just does such a great job. He just does such a good job as a unit. Just with his overall performance, how well he does. And yeah, I just think for the most part he's incredibly reliable and incredibly solid. I think he doesn't really let you down. I think he can do a lot of good work, and yeah, for me, I really like him. I really like what he brings to the table, and yeah, honestly, really solid unit. I think if there's anything to complain about with Turles, I don't really see it, especially against superclass enemies. He is basically like an absolute menace. So Turles is really solid. He's just beefing up the rest of the rotation as well. Remember, they're all getting that 40% attack. Yeah, they're all getting that 40% defense. So they're looking like their damage is looking especially good because Turles is there. Like, obviously their damage would look pretty decent without him, but he's giving them more ki, he's giving them more attack, he's giving them more defense. He's really just like boosting the team. And yeah, I think Turles is really good. Linking partners wise, you obviously want to prioritize his big bad bosses or his thirst for conquest. Destroyer of the Universe is only really a Turles only link, so it's a bit difficult to say. Yeah, it's a bit difficult to say prioritize that or anything like that. You know, it's not something you can just like, oh yeah, do this. Make sure you do this one. You know, like it is quite difficult to do. To just say prioritize this or you know, choose these runes, like choose these units. But yeah, basically you shouldn't really have that big an issue, just in terms of like, yeah, getting everything done. You shouldn't really have a big problem, I want to say. So yeah, for me, obviously super duper happy with Turles' overall performance. I think he brings a huge amount to the table, and I think he's a really stellar unit. So I am very happy with his performance, and I think if you have him and you haven't completed the movie bosses Esbr, then you know what, it's definitely time for you to look at doing so. I think it's definitely a great time to pick him up. It's a great time to use him. You're going to get a lot of value out of Turles. So yeah, for the most part, honestly, pretty chuffed. Defense wise is really solid. He's great, obviously, after his super attack as well, raising his defense a little bit. But with the setup that we have here, he really is just super duper solid, and the amount of damage we're doing is just so big. It's really impressive. So yeah, Turles, I don't know, don't really have any problems with them. Maybe linking partners a little bit if you are, you know, super duper, I don't know, maybe like concerned about linking partners. But even then, most of the units on this team will have big bad bosses. Some of them will have thirst for conquest. You could use him as a floater. I mean, he shares big bad bosses with most freezer units. Link leveling obviously serves this guy great. He really does a huge job link leveling. But yeah, I think for the most part Turles is awesome, and I was very impressed with his performance. So if you do need him, then obviously, yeah, or if you do need to complete the stage, use him, you'll get it done. But that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed the video, and bye.